currently in the middle of 29 series, and there's 26 of them that I will not be continuing. So let's talk about it. Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so very excited to have you here. I have a list right here of all of the series that I am currently in the middle of that I don't plan on continuing. Now, some of these are kind of maybes. I don't really have a strong, definite yes or no right now, but I am kind of leaning towards maybe not finishing them. And then the other ones are just absolutely no, I will not be touching the series with a 10-foot pole. And we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna go over all the ones that I don't plan on finishing and then the maybes that I have in the file. Starting off, we have the Joanna Brady Mysteries series. I'm sure nobody has any idea what it is, and I had no idea what it was before I picked up my first book, which, might I tell you, was like book 31 of this series. Did not know that it was part of one of those massive detective investigator series. This is the book that absolutely just turned me off from detective books. I don't care. I don't think a series needs to be 31 books long, and it's still going, might I add. I don't think anybody needs that. I don't know how many people actually care for these books. I just think series that go on like that forever just don't make any sense. It doesn't matter. And 9 times out of 10, it's a detective, and I just don't care. It's really just us following along them and their lives and all the cases that they work on, kind of like Criminal Minds, but like done in a way that I don't care about. So I read Missing Endangered from this. I absolutely could not stand it. I have so many gripes to that book. I think I've talked about it before, just what I didn't like about it, but just briefly, the main thing was that it was just not about what it said it was about at all. The whole point was supposed to be that the detective's daughter had a college roommate or something like that that ends up missing, and so they're trying to find the girl that went missing. But the whole book was just about the detective's other case, and then maybe 5 chapters was about this girl in college that we were supposed to be talking about. So I just felt very misled by that, and I did not like the book at all. I think I gave it like a 2-star. If I was to change it, I'd probably give it 1. I just did not like it at all. I don't think that I'm gonna continue that series. I don't think I'm gonna pick up the beginning of the series. I don't think that I would ever read anything else by that author. Anytime I look at it and I see it, I'm like, ugh, I read that. I can't believe I read that. That was terrible. Then we have the DC Morgan series. This one I read last party in my book of the month pick. I think that was one of the first books that I read getting back into reading. I really enjoyed the book. It was pretty good. It was a non-linear timeline, and again, following a detective. She's trying to figure out who, I don't know if it was somebody killed somebody or what the case was, but she was trying to figure something out. And I think the way that this was done, the non-linear timeline, and not really just thinking that this is going to be mainly about a detective and just her world and then her solving all the cases, I was fine with it. I thought it was good. But do I think that I want to pick up the next books? Not necessarily. I do have it marked as a maybe just because I don't have anything against it, but it's not something that I'm going to seek out because it's book 2 in a series. I don't really care enough about it. I think I was okay with the first one. It was good. It did what it needed to do, and I enjoyed it for what it was. But feeling the need to move on to book number 2, book number 3, I just don't think that it's something that I'm going to do. Again, if it just so happens to pop up on my TBR or something, or somebody says something about it that it is such a great book, then maybe I would consider it. But just off the top of my head, it's not going to be something that I'm looking for, that I'm like, I have to read book 2. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Again, I'm just going to leave it as a maybe. I'm not going to absolutely write it off at this point, but again, I'm not seeking it out. Next, I have the Lonely Motel series. I read Womb in one of my most recent videos. I was reading horror books for the month of October. This book was interesting. I think that there were some bits of information that we were given that I wasn't too fond of. I don't think by any means it was scary at all, and I don't think it was super gory. I think that there was gory bits, and I think that the overall point of the book and what was trying to be accomplished in the book was very odd. I don't even have words for it right now. It was so weird. I don't think me going in and reading a second book is something that I'm interested in. I have it marked as a no because I'm not going to seek it out at all. It's not something that I'm going to be interested in doing. Again, if something happens, I see the second book and I'm like, I'm pretty interested in that. I might continue it, but I don't think that it's going to be anything up my alley. I didn't care for the first one enough to go in and want to read a second one or feel like I need to continue the series. I don't think that any type of splatterpunk is for me necessarily. I might dip my toes in the water just ever so slightly in the future, but it's not going to be something that I'm really feeling like I need to pick up the series again and finish it. Right here, these are going to be some kind of really weird one-off books that I read. I have a lot of videos where I have read Valentine's books or fall books or anything of the sort, and usually in reading those it's just a bunch of Kindle Unlimited books that I pick out. And those are often series, which I did not know that, but a lot of them end up being part of series, whether they're book 1, book 3, whatever the case is. And most of those I just don't ever think that I'm going to follow up with. I normally didn't like the book enough in the beginning to really want to do more. A lot of them are brother series where they're just other brothers in the family that are finding love. We know how I feel about that. Not going to talk about it, but most of these are going to be that type of stuff, which we have a long list coming up. Okay, this was actually not part of that random little blurb of me reading stuff like that, but it was me picking out a book for the first time that I'd never read the author. I hadn't been reading very much at all. So I picked up That Second Chance by Megan Quinn, and this is part of the Getting Lucky series. This book, I will say, I'm pretty sure I DNF'd it. So technically I'm probably not in the middle of the series, but oh my gosh, would I absolutely never pick up another book of the series. Again, it's just gonna be another book series where it's all of the brothers in the family that are finding their love. This one was about this family, like their family was cursed or something like that. Something happened, I don't know, they were cursed, and I just was not into it. I was listening to the audiobook, I'm not into the narration whatsoever. It was just not good. So I absolutely will not be touching that series at all. Not interested in the slightest. I didn't even think I finished the first one. I don't remember for certain, so I can't say, but I don't think that I am in the middle of this one. I don't know why I have it written down, but not into it. Then I have the Winter Brothers series. I read Good Elf Gone Wrong. I was reading this for some sort of video that I did not post. I didn't even get anywhere past this book. This book was so ridiculous on so many levels. I don't even remember what this book was about. I think just right off the rip, she was getting cheated on, and the words that were coming out of these people's mouths while they were going at it, like under the Christmas tree or something like that, no. Absolutely not. I knew I was setting myself up for failure with this one, and on top of that, I think it was like a 500-600 page book. It was so massive. I mean, it could have not been, but just from my recollection, I was reading this for such a long time and I did not like it at all. So yeah, not going to be reading anything else from this. I guess this is book 1. I just so happen to get lucky and dip my toes into this lovely series that I will not ever go back to. Like ever. Never ever. I have the AP's Hockey Romance series, and this one I read Just Don't Fall. This was a hockey romance. Obviously, I just said that. It was fine. I think I maybe gave it a 4-star just because it was a lot better than all the other books that I read. I don't think I cared for it that much looking back on it. It was, again, it was fine, but I didn't really care. And then I think the rest of the series follows other team members, if I'm not mistaken, and then their love stories, whatnot. I don't care. Then we have the Warm Days in Autumn. I read Autumn and Sycamore Bark. I don't know if I actually finished this one or not. I don't remember, but it's on my Goodreads, so I guess I did. I think that this book was really confusing. I didn't really care for it. It took me such a long time to actually try to get into it, and I don't think I ever did. That's why I'm not sure if I finished it or not. But this one is just a big old long series of I don't even know what. I guess it's just the atmospheric type of book. Will not read it. Will not read anymore. I don't think that those are for me. I don't want to say that this one might be controversial. I don't think it will be, but it's my opinion. It's what I think about it. But I have the Eden series on here. I read Indigo Ridge and I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, I thought it was a really good book, but that was just that. I thought it was a good book and I'm just done. You know, I don't love feeling like I need to go into a series. I don't feel like I need to continue something that fills over to me. I don't know if I will be picking this up. I do have it under a maybe. I just don't know. I doubt that I will. It's not really something that I see myself gravitating towards, but if I do want to pick something up at some point, I could try it, but I was really good with what we got. I thought it was nice, and I'm good. I have the Sugarloaf Bakery series. I read A Sugarloaf Valentine. I really don't remember too much about that one, just another one of those little cheesy romance that I read, and I just don't really need to read anymore. I have We Were Liars. I do not plan at all to pick up, what is it? The Family of Liars? Yeah, I didn't like the first book at all. I think that the show is interesting. I say interesting very loosely. It's good. I think it's a lot better as a show than it is a book, but I just don't need to read another one of that because I didn't like the first one. it was really boring. I have The Holidays with Heart. I read My Funny Valentine, another one of those Valentine's books. I didn't care. 1,000 Boy Kisses. I do not plan on reading book 2. I think book 1 was fine. Like, I don't really know how you're gonna be able to continue the series. You know what I mean? This is like me thinking that I remember the end. I think that I remember the end, and I'm thinking that the end was not great. So I don't know how we're going to like continue off of that. That's what I don't get. I don't get like after terrible things happen, then making a book 2 where we're like, oh, now we're gonna try to figure something else out. I don't see the point in that, which I have another book on the list as well with that same type of vibe, but it doesn't seem appealing to me. I don't really need to learn the character after their new massive life change because I really just didn't care about them enough in the beginning. I have Bookish Romantics. I read Awkward in October. Again, another fall book, not continuing. The Housemaids by Frida McFadden. I read The Housemaids and then The Housemaid's Secret, whatever that was, the second one. Now there's like 6 total books. And I equally do not like when authors find success in one book and then decide to make it a series. I'm not gonna say it's a cash grab. I don't necessarily think that. And I get if you find success doing something, why not just continue it? Like, I so get it. I understand. I'm not like knocking. I'm not saying Frida McFadden, like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? You had a perfect book 1. Why do you need to go and make it? Whatever. That's fine. Do your thing. If you're really passionate about the storyline, you're passionate about these characters, whatever, that's fine. I don't see the need in that. I don't really find it something that I'm ever super drawn to unless if I'm super into the characters. I had these books for forever, so that's why I had both of them. I think I saw that they were 1 and 2. This was back whenever I was like, oh, I have to read every single book in a series, and there was 2 books in the series. Now there's like 5 or 6. I think I'm pretty content with where we're at. The second book was good. I didn't need it, and I sure as heck don't need a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and possibly 6th book. Like, are they gonna be interesting? Yeah, possibly. I don't think that I need that. I don't know who needs that. Unless, again, if you are like so connected with them. I'm not, so I don't think that I'll pick up the next ones. I do have it listed as a maybe. I'm not knocking it off. I'm not saying I will never touch these again. But as of right now and the reading journey that I'm on, I think reading more books in that series just doesn't really fit with what I'm going for. I have the Wicked Games series on here. I don't plan on picking up the second book at all. I read Phantasma. I really enjoyed it. I think the ending was kind of odd for me. Like, it just didn't settle the way that I wanted it to. I'm not saying it was a bad ending by any means, but I think I would have preferred something a little bit different. Was what it was. I'm not mad about it. I really enjoyed the games. I enjoyed them kind of fighting for their lives in that aspect. I thought that was really good. It kind of reminded me of the ACOTAR series where she's playing the games to try to get them out from under the mountain. Obviously it's not the same at all, but just same vibes. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really good, but I don't think I really need to read more. I'm content with where I stopped. I thought that part was good. I enjoyed it, but again, I don't really feel like I need more. I have the Skyland series on here. I read Before I Let Go. Again, I'm content with where that left off. I don't feel like I need to go into a book 2. Like, I'm good, you know? Dirty Air series. I read Throttled. I will not touch that series. Again, I did not like Throttled at all. Like, not even a little bit. I gave that a 2-star. I think if I were to go back, I'd give it a 1-star. I just didn't like the F1. I didn't like their romance. I didn't like any part of it. They just didn't have any chemistry, and I don't need to read more at all. So I know some people say that other books are great and they're so much better and that you should just skip to that one if you didn't like the first one. I don't care enough. Again, just more F1 drivers and each driver we're getting there. I just don't need that. This one is a little controversial for me personally. I have the Wembrel House series on here. I've read book 1 to 4 and I know we're getting more books. I just don't know if I'm wanting to continue the series or not. And I'm not trying to say that I didn't like the series at all. I loved 1 and 2. Even book 3 was decent. I think my problem is that I have read them so long ago. Not even, it's been like 2 years, I guess. But it's just taken so long for them to come out. I don't remember what happened. I don't remember what's going on. So the new books I'm not as interested in. I don't really care about it as much. And is that my problem? Absolutely. That's just why I try not to read a bunch of series unless if they're fully out, just because I don't want to wait like 3 years for another book and then not remember anything about the other books. So I'm detached. I don't want to go into a series and read other books that I'm detached from. It doesn't help me out. and then it causes me to lose interest in the series, kind of like what's happening here. So that's a maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna think about the 5th book. If that one comes out, I'm not gonna be excited about it. I was excited about book 3 coming out, but 4 came out and I was like, oh, there's another one, like I'll listen to it on audiobook. Now we have 5 and I just don't think I'm gonna be sprinting to get it anytime soon. It saddens me to say that, but this one's a maybe. I don't know. I really don't want to lose interest in the series and not like it. I don't want to push myself to read it or listen to it and then not get what I feel like I should be getting out of it and then just be disappointed. That's the last thing that I want. I don't want to rate them poorly just because I have a hard time following along and I'm not in it anymore. Next, this one is another one that I was talking about, kind of like the 1,000 Boy Kisses, Me Before You. I don't know if I want to read book 2. I really, really loved the first book. I gave it a 5-star. That was like the first book that I tabbed ever, and I read this not too long ago. I don't know. Again, we know how this ended. We know how the book ended, and I don't think reading on is gonna do me any good. I don't think I'm gonna like it that much to read on just about her journey after. I'm not saying it's bad. I do have the book on my shelf. I think I got it for like a couple bucks somewhere. As of right now, it's not calling to me. I thought that in the middle of reading book 2, things were gonna go different and it was just gonna be like a nice little romance. No. What I thought might happen did not happen. So I don't even know how this can be continued, like at all. I don't know. Again, I have it. I could pick it up. I have it as a maybe, just because I'm not writing it off right now, but I'm just not really finding the urge to want to pick it up at all. So I'm thinking that it might just be something that I'm over with, I'm done with, and I might just donate that, but I can't say for certain just because, again, I have the book. If I want to maybe see what I think of it, then I can try, but it's just a maybe right now. I don't know. I have Boys of Avix, Say You Swear. I don't know. Look, I talked pretty highly about this one in the very beginning. I thought that the direction that we were headed in with the little love triangle thing, I thought that was gonna be fantastic. I have a hard time switching up. I will say that once we introduce the main character and their love interest, I'm rooting for them. Unless if they suck, then I'm like, I don't know. Like Tamlin, I had a really difficult time rooting for him. He was fine, he was great. They were into each other, so I was rooting for him, but like I just didn't want him. I wanted somebody else. You know what I mean? So that was the vibe kind of that I was getting there. She swapped up, she was interested in somebody else, and I just could not get over the first person because I was like, you like him, you're into him, like he just needs to be better. He needs to suck it up and do this stuff, whatever. And then we just totally abandoned him, which is fine. But me jumping ship like that and swapping things up, really difficult. Really difficult for me, so I had a really hard time with that. I don't know. I don't even know what the next books are about. They're probably just the other people. Realistically, that's probably what it is. Honestly, I don't think that I will continue that. I have that as a maybe, so I don't know. I could read it. I could not. I probably won't, but I'm not just knocking it off my list right now. But again, probably not gonna touch it. I might reread Say You Swear at some point just because the feelings that I got when I first started reading that book, whole nother level. I was so into it. But the ending was a little weird. But again, that's a maybe, but probably not. I have Assistant to the Villain. I read the first and second. I don't know how I feel about picking up the third one. I listened to the first one on audiobook, and then the second one came out a little while later. I want to say it was a few months after, and I just didn't really remember where we were at in the story. I didn't remember where the last one left off. I don't think it was bad by any means, but I think with the third one being so long awaited, I don't know if I'm gonna really be interested in it. After reading the second one, I was a little bit let down just because of, again, the length of time that it took from reading the first one to the second one. I was pulled out of the story. So I think me going into the third one, I'm definitely not gonna be into the story at all. So trying to get back into it and trying to pretend like I'm really enjoying it and whatnot might be a little bit difficult, which is why I have this one as a maybe as well. I don't know. This one I would say is probably the most likely that I would read the next one. But I don't know at this point. I'm not excited for it. I'm not eager for it. I think it's already out too. I just don't know what I think. I have the Eddie Flynn series. I read 13. This one I read like book 4 in it or something like that. It was good. The book was good. I thought it was interesting, but it's a lawyer series with many, many books in it. I just won't do that. I don't want to do that. I had the Alibi collections on here. I read Death Row by Frida McFadden. It was like a 70-something page book. I was assuming that she was going to be writing a bunch of the books from that. I thought that it was like her series. It was really just a short stories from other people. I don't really care about those. I don't really care about the other authors. I really didn't look, but I thought that that one was just so mid. I didn't really care to read any other ones, so will not touch those, I bet. Again, I could, but probably not. I have the Catalucci coffee shop romances. I read He's So Not My Valentine. Again, little random Valentine's romance. I didn't care about it enough to continue. I have the Improbable Meet Cute series as well. That one's another, I don't know if it's an Audible thing. I think it's like an audiobook. I listened to the Royal Valentine. It was good. It wasn't even that good. It was fine. It was really short. It was like an hour-long audiobook. I just think that those are too short for me. Short story books like that, I'm not gonna rate them highly, so I just don't want to even try. So I will not be continuing that series, unfortunately. I know there's a bunch of good authors on there that wrote stuff, but I don't care. And then the last one that I have on here is Bunny. I know that they just made this a series not too long ago. The first one was really confusing. Okay, the first one was very confusing. I didn't really get it, and I don't know if I was supposed to get it or not, but I didn't. I don't think that I will read the second one. I was good with the first one. I'm content with it. I don't need to go farther. It was what it was. I'm confused. I think that if I read another one, I was too confused with the first book to go into a second one and enjoy it, even if it is just different characters, even if it doesn't have any correlation to the first one whatsoever. I just don't think it's gonna be something that I really care about. I'm not really that interested. I would have to go back and reread the first one too, I feel like, to go into a second book for this. So probably won't touch Bunny again. Who knows though? Obviously these are just series that I don't really think that I'm going to reread it again. I could possibly at some point, and I'm not saying that these were bad necessarily. Some of them were bad, some of them I just didn't like, and that's why I'm not reading them again. But for the most part, it's just books that were okay. They were good, fine, whatever. A lot of it's just I don't have any interest in continuing the series. Not that it was terrible, so I'm writing it off. There was really only a couple of them that I just absolutely will not touch because the first book was so bad, in my opinion. But other than that, most of them were fine books. I just don't really have any need to continue the series. There isn't anything that's drawing me to it or anything, so I'm fine with my decision. I'm not like freaking out. I'm not gonna get FOMO at all, I don't think. Hopefully not. That would suck. It would suck so bad. But these are all the books that I'm in the middle of that I'm not planning on continuing. Again, I'm in the middle of a couple other series that I just started that I'm gonna have to wait a little bit on. But I usually try to read all of my series back to back if I'm interested in them, just so I'm not pushing it, I'm not prolonging the inevitable of not enjoying the series, not remembering something, to which causes me to want to leave some of these behind, like you saw just now. But let me know if there are any series on here that I am shutting down too quickly. Let me know if there's any that I read off of this list that you think that I do need to continue, that I need to pick up the next book, if it's like a end all be all, if I'm gonna be a completely different person. Let me know if any of these series are series that you are equally not finishing with me. We can DNF them together. But again, yeah, if there are any series on here that you're like, you need to read this next book, it's absolutely gonna change your mind, let me know. I might give it a go. But that's it. That's all I got for you. These are all the series that I will not be continuing, unfortunately, for the series. But thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me and chatting with me on this wonderful Bookmas day. I greatly appreciate you being here so much, and hopefully I will get to see you again in the next one, hopefully tomorrow. See ya!